This is Finacle Tel cluster application. Now, I think this is a good area. These are the edge devices or the end devices. So a bank teller or an individual like us will be basically interacting with the banking application. As we interact with the banking application, we will be accessing the application via a front end or a browser or maybe a mobile app. Now, all the data which is being stored for our transactions is being kept in a database server, which is at the end. So let us say if I transfer money from my bank account, US dollar 1000 to someone else's bank account, all these records and all these transactions are being managed in this primary database server. There is also a backup. So let us not bother about the backup. So this is basically the DB server. Then this DB server, how do we do not interact directly with the database server. We have the browser. At the browser, we have the application. This application talks to the application server or the which might be installed on a different hardware device. This application server talks to the database server. This is how the design is. And we are able to interact with or carry out our transactions utilizing this scheme or this design. So we need to have a secure login. We will have access to certain screens. And on these, it is on these, via these screens, we are basically generating some reports, maybe updating our password, maybe carrying out some transactions. And under the hood and at the back, whatever you carry out through the screen, under the hood, it is these SQL queries which are going on. So this is how things proceed. Let us quickly understand how this is implemented, because implementation is something which you need to understand. And then we will move on to SQL. So how do we implement a RDBMS server? This is the last concept which we will understand, and then we will move ahead with practicals. You see, an RDBMS server will be a piece of hardware which we need to purchase, or maybe if it is on cloud, we have to secure this hardware capability via a company like AWS or Microsoft Azure. So all the hardware requirements, CPU, RAM, storage, network, etc., etc., this is the domain of the software architect. They will do this kind of hardware sizing. The RDBMS, which we are going to utilize for our application, again, this is the design of the software architect and the software designer. But we need to be aware of the specs of the hardware. We need to be aware of the specs of what the RDBMS is. Then let us say if this hardware and the spec is something that we are using a Windows server. So we procure hardware, we install the Windows server or the operating system, we install the RDBMS on it. Then onto this RDBMS, we basically create databases, and now these databases are linked with our application server. The end users will be utilizing their edge devices, say for example a mobile app or a browser based screen, and then they will be interacting with the application, and the application will in turn interact with the database. So this is how things happen. If you would like to, from a banking application, if you would like to take out the transactions which you have carried out in last 30 days, it is a report which you are seeking from the database. Say for example, if you are updating your password, it is the update statement. The earlier one was the select statement. So these are some queries which we are now going to learn. So let us now move to the Word file, and it is from there we move ahead. We will move ahead with learning practical SQL.
Vijay, I have a couple of questions.
Please tell me.
Some of the keywords that I have I have heard of a number of times, but maybe I would like to understand their
Okay, tell me,
significance. So
tell
one
me.
is the load balancer that we were having a look at in the previous slide.
Mhm. So you load balancer.
Yes. What is this and what's the significance of this particular term?
A load balancer is, so see here, there may be more thousands of users who may be accessing your application. So if you can see here, there are two HTTP servers. HTTP servers are typically utilized to download, you see, information or to download files which are not so sensitive. So load balancer will balance the load whether they direct you to this server or this server. So whichever server will have a lesser load, it will direct you
Mm.
there. Again, there is a load balancer here which is directing you here and there. Yeah.
But is this something that is decided or designed when the architecture of the system is, the blueprint of architecture is prepared? Is this something
Of course,
taken a
of course.
decision then? Okay.
Okay. So now we move ahead and we move with these SQL nodes, and I will follow these SQL nodes, and as we will follow the same, we will be able to learn SQL concepts.